Wow, back in my day, if you compared people of quote-unquote color to monkeys, you were the Istaphobe. Hello everyone, I am Mecca, and this Istaphobe thinks that these kind of monkey bard dudes with a lute look similar enough to this old stereotype picture that he needs to out himself for Istaphobia. Wow, that's not even a banjo. These monkey guys are playing. They have 6 strings. That's a lute. It's not even a 6-string banjo. What the crap? So I guess this is okay because D&D apologized for this guy's racism. I suppose now D&D, do you guys just love, or do you miss the days? Do you miss the days when you used to get shoved into lockers and you love people like me pointing that out and tearing it down a notch? Because guess what, Dungeons and Dragons Wizards of the Coast? I will gladly do that because I'm the metal chick with the freaking leather jacket and the riding crop and the flying V, and I am not going to stoop to the level of, oh, he looks like a person who looks like No, I'm going to correct you. How dare you? How dare you, Dungeons and Dragons? What is their statement? How dare you apologize for his racism? What is wrong with you people? Who are you? Why are you here?
I'm Rob Robot Shlomo, and I played Dungeons and Dragons once. I've heard of it.
See, now I've tried to watch people play it, get into it. It's way too much. Like, I just prefer Knights of Pen and Paper where I can get there and have my character and have the math done for me and have the rolls calculated and the plus ones and the minus ones. I don't have to do it in paper the hard way because that's what computers are for.
I've got nothing against it.
And I'm not social and I don't like people.
Yeah, I've got nothing against it. You know, it's a lot better when you watch like Dan Harmon and they animate.
Well, those are professional comedians too.
Well, but they animate all the goofy stuff.
Like my experience with Dungeons and Dragons is everybody hangs out in a room for like 8 hours and talks about everything but the game, except in tiny questions. Well. Nobody play acts, nobody role plays.
Okay, well,
it's a
anyway,
dull experience. So how dare you, Dungeons and Dragons? So they're apologizing for somebody else's Istaphobia.
I guess. I mean,
how dare you?
Okay, well, statement on the Hadozi. I'm gonna say Hadozi. September 2nd, 2022, we wanted to acknowledge and own the inclusion of offensive material within the recent Spelljammer Adventures in Space content. We failed you, our players, and our fans, and we are truly sorry.
So they admit that they intended it to be Istaphobik then. Because see, you could just be a normal person and say, anybody comparing a monkey in outer space to an old 1930s stereotype offensive thing, well, I mean, then that's you, like every normal person on the planet, because I've certainly been dogpiled when I tweeted out back when Mike Henry stepped down from Cleveland on the Cleveland show and on Family Guy. I tweeted out and said, because he wanted a person of color to play this voice, because he's a white guy playing Cleveland, right? Okay. Some context here. I said, and I stand by this, oh what, are they going to get a real dog to voice Brian Griffin next? Because you can only be the exact thing that you're playing.
Are there bigger problems in the world than this tweet? Well, I assure you there are.
And everybody said that I was comparing somebody to something else, to animals, and I said absolutely it was not, because that was never the intention, but Dungeons and Dragons clearly is stating that it was the intention for them. So yeah, just cancel Dungeons and Dragons.
That's right, cancel Dungeons and Dragons. They're Istaphobic. So anyway, the campaign...
Wait a minute, you're a white guy doing that voice too now.
Cancel me. I've been canceled, and I'm canceled again.
We've been canceled.
And I've been canceled more times than Family Guy. The campaign includes people called the Hadozi, which first appeared in 1982. Really? This is 40...
They're from the 80s and they're canceled? Oh, Dungeons and Dragons, we gotta bring out the preacher. Dungeons and Dragons, you have sinned and you are racism's incarnate. You didn't get you canceled when you were in cahoots with the devil, but now we can get you for being racist.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
40 years it took to catch up. I hope they don't find out about that spelling test I cheated on back then. Regrettably, not all portions of the content relating to the Hadozi were properly vetted before appearing in our most recent release. As we continue to learn and grow through every situation, we recognize that to live our values, we have to do better. Throughout the 50-year history of Dungeons & Dragons, some of the characters in the game have been monstrous and evil.
And if you are the one out there comparing some fictional Fakey McFakeville character to real people, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Then you are the absolute Istaphobe. This ties into all the other stuff that's going on lately with the other shows and the other entertainment properties. Like I don't give a flying crap what color or whatever. But this, to specifically say that was your intent by apologizing, you're just making it worse. You could have taken the high ground and said, look, that's a fictional species. If you are implying anything, then that's just on you. If you are looking at an orc and seeing a person of color, if you're looking at a space monkey and seeing an actual person of color, we have come too far around the corner of cancel culture and are not canceling the right people. So the person, like the original tweeter, was that Chris Tweeter? This guy needs to go. This guy needs to go because he literally thinks that those two are the same image.
I'm seeing double here. 4 Krusties.
Well, anyways.
Anything else on their apology?
Okay, anyway, so he says, we understand the urgency of changing how we work to better ensure a more inclusive game.
Maybe get rid of players who think that your freaking monster characters are representative of humans. That's the whole reason.
They say right here, using descriptions that are painfully reminiscent of how real-world groups have been and continue to be denigrated. We understand the urgency of changing how we work to better ensure a more inclusive game. Effective immediately, we remove the offensive content about the Hadozi in our digital versions, and these will no longer be included in future reprints of the book. Our priority is to make things right when we make mistakes. In addition, we have initiated a thorough internal review of the situation and will take the necessary actions as a result of that.
Ban that player. Ban that player. He probably doesn't even play.
We are eternally grateful for the ongoing dialogue with the D&D community. Are you dialoguing with the... Is that a word, dialoguing? Are you dialoguing with the...
They don't listen to the D&D. They're listening to the little wokier than thou SJWs who have to cancel. Here's a trick. Here's a trick from the SJWs that they don't want you to know. If they don't like something, they find something istaphobic about it to get rid of it because, well, gee, I don't like it, and I don't want to be expected to have to play Dungeons and Dragons or anything. So let me find something istaphobic to cancel it for.
Well, okay, hold on.
It's usually women, it's usually girls who are stuck in this nerd sphere, and they'd rather be, at a Luke Bryant concert.
Well, anyway, D&D teaches that diversity is strength for only a diverse group of adventurers.
Incredibly diverse. Diversity.
Guys, look at the moon.
Diversity.
Can overcome the many challenges a D&D story presents. In that spirit, we are committed to making D&D as welcome and inclusive as possible. This part of our work will never end. Okay, errata PDF. Okay, there's a PDF here, which I'm not going to download. But this is, like I said, it took them 40 years to realize this. And there are people. Is it really your players that are you listening to, or is it just Twitter? Because
it's just Twitter. It's just one idiot on Twitter.
Because, like I said, there's people here on Twitter
who cares?
That are just professional complainers, and it just, like I said,
These people are going to find anything problematic with things because they want to cancel them, because they want to get rid of them. And that's how the SJW aspect of things work.
Well,
if they don't want anything to do with it, rather than saying it's not for them and not fitting in with their new geek crowd, because that's the only crowd they can get, they would rather go and attack it.
Yeah, like I said, it's. I tend to think this is just professional complainers on Twitter. So take that as you will. Howard Cosell was fired over making reference to a monkey one time on the air, but that was the 80s.
Howard Stern said a lot.
Not Stern. Cosell,
oh, Cosell,
the sportscaster.
Same difference.
But he called everybody that word, white or black. It didn't matter. But somebody took offense to it, and here we are. So that's how far back this goes. But it took you 40 years to catch up with this. Really? 40
It took
years.
40 years for some istaphobe to realize the hatred within his own heart and to say something. I'm surprised that guy isn't getting ratioed harder on Twitter.
Well, it took 40 years. Well, not to be fair, Twitter hasn't been around all that long in the grand scheme of things. So,
Well, no, I'm saying like that guy should be ratioed off the internet. You should have deleted that tweet by now.
yeah, well, anyway. So,
That's about all I got to say about this one.
D&D.
D&D, you know, do you really need me to shove you in your locker, D&D?
It's, yeah.
Stop apologizing for this crap. It makes you look weak. And I'm sorry. I thought nerds were popular now.
Oh, well. Well,
All right.
I got nothing to say.
All right. See you. Subscribe, like, whatever. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.
Is this worth freaking out over? Or are there bigger problems in the world than this tweet?